You ever have those mornings where the shop feels like it's conspiring against you? I walked in today, tripped over a cord I swore I coiled up last night, and realized I've been using a metric hex key on a standard bolt for 10 minutes wondering why the world felt soft.
Maybe the world isn't soft, Tiger. Maybe you just need more caffeine. Or a nap. It is the 1st of July, after all. Half the year is gone.
Don't remind me. My to-build list is currently 3 times longer than my actually finished list. But we aren't here to talk about my scheduling failures. We've got some genuine gear shifts to cover today. The 3D printing world is currently trying to break the sound barrier, and I'm looking at these new Elegoo Centauri 2 specs thinking, man, if my old table saw moved that fast, I'd be missing a lot more than just a fingernail.
Right, the Centauri 2. They ditched the enclosure on this one, which sounds to me like they're saying, hey, we know you only print PLA anyway, so why pretend?
Exactly, it's like buying a convertible. You isn't going to be driving it through a blizzard, or in this case, printing ABS that warps the second a stray breeze hits it. It's built for the person who needs a prototype in their hand before the coffee gets cold. They're chasing raw velocity.
And Prusa is right there with them. I saw they launched this new high-speed PLA. 40% faster? That's not just a marginal gain. That's the difference between finishing a client's order on Friday afternoon or spending your Saturday morning listening to the printer hum.
It's the maker mogul dream, Alex. Higher throughput. But the bit that really caught my eye, the stuff that makes my inner mechanic happy, is what E3D is doing with these Bastion gears. They've put this diamond-like carbon coating on the filament drive.
Diamond-like. That sounds like marketing speak for it's kind of shiny.
No, it's about grit. If you've ever run glow-in-the-dark filament or carbon fiber through a standard brass nozzle or cheap gears, it's like running sandpaper through a pasta maker. It just eats the metal. These new gears are self-lubricating and hard enough to laugh at abrasive stuff. It's the kind of upgrade you install once and then completely forget about because it just works. That's the highest praise I can give a tool.
Moving from the desktop to the shop floor, we need to talk about the blue-collar ceiling. You see guys who are incredible welders. They can lay a bead that looks like a stack of dimes every single time, but they stay at the same pay grade for a decade.
It's a trap, isn't it? You get so good at the doing, you forget about the proving. The American Welding Society is really pushing the CWI path, Certified Welding Inspector, right now. And look, I'll be the first to tell you, sitting in a classroom when you'd rather be under a hood feels like a root canal. But that CWI stamp, that's your ticket out of the trenches and into the air-conditioned office, or at least a much higher-paying trench.
Is it just a test, though? Because I've seen people who are book-smart about welding who couldn't actually strike an arc to save their lives.
That's why those AWS in-person seminars are the way to go. They don't just hand you a manual and say, good luck, kid. They teach you how to treat a code book like a map. When you're in the middle of a high-pressure inspection, you don't need to memorize every word. You need to know exactly which tab to flip to when the foreman is breathing down your neck. It's about moving from the hands to the head.
It sounds like the ultimate insurance policy for a career.
It is. If your knees start giving out or you're just tired of the fumes, being the person who signs off on the work instead of the person doing it, that's how you stay in the game for 40 years without breaking your back.
Speaking of staying in the game, I was reading that Eli Mash story you flagged, the Macor Coffee founder. He hit $100,000 in revenue in his first year with a day job and 3 kids? How? I can barely remember to feed my cat if I have a big project due.
He didn't wait for a miracle or a pile of venture capital. He found a niche, anti-inflammatory benefits, and he traded sleep for sweat equity. For the makers out there trying to sell their cutting boards or custom furniture, the lesson isn't work yourself to death. It's solve a specific problem.
So don't just sell a coffee table. Sell the coffee table that fits in a tiny apartment and has a hidden drawer for your laptop.
Precisely. The bootstrap flywheel is all about taking that first $50 of profit and buying a better blade, not a round of drinks. You feed the shop, and eventually, the shop feeds you.
Which leads us right to the Maker channel and the Prime Day chaos. 55 woodshop deals? My credit card is already sweating.
Take a breath, Alex. Just because a sliding miter saw is 40% off doesn't mean you have the floor space for it. But if you've been eyeing a decent router for those custom whiskey cabinets people are obsessed with lately, now is the time to pounce.
Those whiskey cabinets are everywhere on Pinterest now. They look intimidating, Tiger. All that glass and integrated lighting.
They're just boxes, Alex. Fancy boxes, sure, but still just boxes. The secret to not losing your mind and your profit margin is the prep work. I've been messing around with these new SketchUp tutorials for fast plywood shelf design.
Wait, you? Using a computer for woodworking? I thought you preferred drawing on the back of cereal boxes.
Look, the cereal box method works until you realize you're one shelf short and you've already used the last of the walnut plywood. SketchUp lets you lay out your cut list so you're squeezing every square inch out of a 4x8 sheet. It's like a game of Tetris where the prize is not having to spend another $100 at the lumberyard because you miscalculated a dado. I've spent way too many hours staring at a pile of scrap wood, realizing my plan was basically just a hallucination.
So, measure twice, sketch up once?
Something like that. It's about removing the guesswork. When you know exactly where every cut is going before you even plug in the saw, the stress level just drops. You can actually enjoy the build instead of worrying if the doors are going to line up.
So, what's the big takeaway for the start of July? If we're looking at these stories, from 3D gears to welding certifications to coffee brands, is there a thread here?
I think it's about the long game. We live in a world that wants everything at high speed, like those new printers, but the things that actually last, like a career or a brand, require you to be willing to do the boring stuff, reading the code book, planning the cut list, reinvesting the profit.
It's not as flashy as a montage of sparks flying, but it's what keeps the lights on.
Exactly. Don't just build things, build a foundation, whether that's a better extruder gear or a better set of skills. Make sure the thing you're standing on is solid before you try to reach for the next level.
Well said. I'm going to go see if I can find my metric hex keys before you lose any more fingernails.
Much appreciated. We'll see you all tomorrow in the den. Keep your blades sharp and your plans tighter.